And if you talk about gender-based violence, that is also one thing. Generally, the UN organizations talks about that. Where do we lack, and what are some of the things we are not doing it properly?
This is a problem of men. I must say it's not only in Pakistan, but it's a global problem and is actually worse in developing countries. How to deal with this issue is not only morally important, but developmentally important for the country. So we having a criminal justice system that deals severely with violence against women, having a zero tolerance culturally and societally is a key component of that. Without it, this path to development will be much more difficult. And the UN works here a lot through UNFPA and UN Women in supporting government, working with the judiciary, in explaining things. I'll tell you a side story on this. When I was in Afghanistan, it was my first time because of the situation there with women, and this was before the current Taliban government. This was during Karzai's period. The issue of gender was still a huge problem. And colleagues used to text me on Facebook those days. We didn't have a WhatsApp. They'll say, "How is it to be a woman in Afghanistan?" And my answer was, "I don't know how it is to be a woman anywhere." So I think also for us men have a responsibility to want to learn. It's not to say that I'm a single guy, I see gender violence, it's not my business. It is your business because it's your country's business, it's your development business, and that person is somebody's sister. She's half of the population. She gave birth to you, and she's the foundation for the future. She's the one who's going to produce the next Pakistanis. So we need to, as men, we need to be part of the solution on gender-based violence. If we're not, and we make this as somebody else's problem, it's only the problem of the police, the judiciary, because these things are societal norms. They're accepted. And once things become unacceptable, bias against women, especially in politics, to an extent that most women don't vote for women. Because somebody told me, a Nigerian politician told me, if this is half of the voters in Nigeria are women, why are they not voting for women? They're socialized the same way, to self-hate, to think they're not the right person to manage. So it's the same society. Bias against the women are not only limited to men. It transmits in terms of self-worth. So this is why in some countries the affirmative action part are extremely important for people to see examples that if there's a certain number of seats put aside for women, people will see women leaders. They'll see actually they perform, and they can. Somebody told me, what if a woman becomes a leader and she's incompetent? And I said, well, she has a right to be equally incompetent as men. Because there's so many incompetent men in many positions. Why don't we talk about their gender when they're incompetent? So incompetency is not a gender-based thing. But we should give everybody an opportunity. So countries have done this. They've seen a lot of success for inclusion, self-worth. I talked about the self-worth. Self-worth is also to see somebody who looks like you doing great things. Is a young girl and looks on the television and she sees a woman prime minister, a woman minister. She sees, a woman general in the army. She sees a woman industrial lead, CEO. That young Pakistani child already has a sense of worth that will be important for her to contribute to the country because she knows everything is possible.